All right, everyone. The other day, it was widely reported that Nadler, I think it's Nadler, but his nads are funnier. And the House Dems have secretly started impeachment proceedings. Yes, it's official. Finally, they come out and say, yes, we're involved in impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. And they say it in a very dour, very solemn way, like very, very much for the high halls of Congress do we say this. Impeachment proceedings, yes, indeed, I can confirm have begun. A sad day for the Republic. But then you actually read the reports, and it's the same old bullshit that it's been now for, a year. It's basically, it's basically a partisan group of us Democrats, a simple majority in the House, have begun to compile reasons we might want to begin impeachment proceedings by the end of the year. So we're currently thinking about voting on impeachment proceedings beginning within the next 6 months or so. How the hell is this newsworthy? The only reason that it was reported on is because they used the term impeachment proceedings, which isn't technically even what they're doing. It's the pre-proceedings that they're talking about. That's the only reason it was deemed newsworthy, and they dared to utter that term in order to get it into the instant news cycle for 15 minutes, which is about how long it lasted when people realized how fucking dumb they were being by taking it seriously. The House Democrats have wanted to begin impeachment proceedings the whole time. Trump hadn't even been elected yet when they were talking about impeachment. People were saying, well, if he's elected, the best thing to do is impeach him right away. They don't seem to understand what impeachment means or the process of removing a president of the United States from that post. They're ignorant. They don't understand what they're talking about. It looks like the House Democrats have decided to con their more gullible left-wing fans into thinking they're doing something because they don't want the far left breathing down their necks. The problem is it's becoming impossible for the neoliberals to govern, especially the ones in the House where there are more far leftists in the House than the Senate. There's Bernie Sanders is the furthest left sort of Dem senator, and he's an independent technically, except recently, and then he'll go back to being independent once he loses, I think. It'll be funny to have that happen. The House is overrun with far leftists and progressives, generally speaking, on the Dem side. It's getting harder and harder for Pelosi and people like her to actually manage this situation because the problem is these people, their constituents, are far left. They demand impeachment. They're too dumb to realize that you can't just randomly impeach the president for no reason and expect it not to explode in your face when the impeachment fails even in the House, let alone makes it to the Senate to see if the Senate will even do anything. The Senate is run by the Republicans right now. And even with Mitt Romney being basically a Democrat with an R after his name, and then never Trumper, a rhino-con, it doesn't matter. You don't have the votes. You need more than a simple majority in the Senate to remove a president from office. It's never going to happen. Trump hasn't done anything impeachable. Mean tweets isn't impeachable. Not obstructing is not impeachable. Not colluding is unimpeachable. He has done nothing that warrants impeachment. High crimes and misdemeanors. Can you name anything he's done wrong? We've got private banks fiddling around and filing off information to the House Intel people that are investigating Trump's taxes. So far, no major revelations, I guess, because they've had months to sort through some of this documentation. I'm not seeing anything come of it so far. Not that I'm surprised, since I don't think he cheated on his taxes. I think you're going to find that it's a trap for the Dems, and that actually if they go public with anything, it'll be the result of Trump handing out the documents like candy and saying, look, yeah, not only did I not cheat, I paid more than I had to. I knew this would happen because the swamp does do a goofy shit. He has to know. It's kind of obvious that would happen when he decided to stand against the establishment in the first place. He's technically part of. I mean, he's a politician now. He's fighting for red flag laws. By the way, fuck those. Red flags, pre-crime screening on the internet. Fuck that. That's dystopian bullshit. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard in my entire life actually proposed that we implement as a society. And it's bipartisan. The Democrats and Republicans agree you should lose your liberty without due process, apparently. So fuck the establishment. And fuck Trump, too, if he ends up seriously signing off on such things. But in regards to impeachability, he hasn't done anything impeachable. I mean, again, name something that he's done where, and I'm not talking about, well, there's an allegation that he discriminated in housing back in the 70s. No, it's got to be contemporary, and it's not an allegation. That doesn't matter. Alleging that someone does something wrong doesn't mean they did. Show me the proof. Has he been convicted of something? Is there some crime you know he committed? Do we have witnesses to crimes that themselves are not totally impeachable witnesses? Oh, well, his former lawyer, the one that got thrown in prison, lied before Congress and was found in contempt of Congress, says that Trump did dirty things. Stormy Daniels, who recanted half her story and sued her own fucking lawyer at the time, says that he fucked her for money or something. Doesn't matter to me. Happened before the campaign, not an impeachable offense, only an allegation without any proof. Fucking get off your high horse and learn a little bit about the civic process before you bother continuing. But that's exactly what this is. What this is the the neoliberals trying to calm down the far left, but they're underestimating the fervor of the far left. What's going to happen is simple. Now they'll pretend to be proceeding with their investigation, when in reality it's not. Some of these far-left individuals are going to grandstand on this. They're going to come to the fore because they want attention. Here's what the neoliberals don't understand. The AOCs and Rashida Tlaibs and the Ilhan Omars will come to the fore, say, well, we want to be in charge of the process. We want this to be swift and vicious. We want justice and we want it now. They'll come to the fore. They'll whip their fans up into a frenzy. They've got a national stage. You've got to understand. House members are district politicians. They represent a district, not the country at large. But these people are acting like they are national level politicians. AOC is a presidential wannabe pretending to be a member of the U.S. House. She's not representing a district. She's representing an ideology that speaks for a consensus of the far left nationwide. She will come to the fore. She will hijack that political process and ram it into the ground and up the Democratic Party's asshole. She'll grandstand, probably win re-election because of that, and it'll be hilarious because the Democrats will be the ones getting fucked. Trump won't be impeached because once she and people like her take over that process, which is probably inevitable, or at least they try to and make Pelosi really, really angry and make her look really old and weak, what'll happen is the Democrats get fucked. Trump's still there. They'll be running against him in their re-election bids probably too. It's like Chakrabarty just got off the AOC train and now has a different job, like preparing for a re-election campaign or something, is no longer her chief of staff. It's really, and by the way, people were feeding me that story without fact-checking it. So a lot of people are like, well, she forced him out. Obviously, this is because he referred to the New Green Deal as socialism and so. No, he wasn't forced out. I mean, he left the position. He's still with AOC. It's just he's in a different position. So that was a little bit of kind of fake news at the time. I had to look through. This is why it's important. Read the story yourself, even if you're tipped off by a usually reliable tipster, which I was. I've got like a half a dozen people feeding me news stories, but I still have to go through them. Because sometimes, I mean, you have a tabloid headline, oh, this is happening, and then you read through it and you find out it's not happening. Like with impeachment. On the surface, you look at the titles of these things. Trump will be impeached. Impeachment proceedings. Impeachment begins in the House. And it's not true. None of those claims are true, but that's what it's being reported as. And then the shitposting takes hold, and it's just, it's hilarious, but it's wrong. Interesting political times we live in, especially with Epstein. He killed himself. He committed suicide. Yeah, I believe you completely, dude. That's about all. Peace out.